My child, before you decide this message is not meant for you, pause for one moment, because what you are about to hear began with a single sentence that stunned an entire family into complete silence. Your soulmate stood where no one expected them to stand, looked into the eyes of those who had known them their entire life, and quietly said, "I am ending my ties with everything that keeps me away from the life I truly want." No one understood those words at first. They thought it was only emotion. They thought it would pass. But they were wrong. Something had already changed inside their heart long before this conversation ever happened. Don't skip this moment, because every detail matters, and something huge is waiting for you. What happened next surprised everyone gathered in that room. One family member tried to interrupt. Another laughed nervously. Someone whispered that this decision would never last. Yet your soulmate did not raise their voice. They simply remained calm, because deep inside they had already made the hardest decision of all. There was no anger. There was no argument. Only a quiet confidence that made everyone wonder what had happened to transform them so completely. Stay till the end because the final piece of this story connects every clue. They had spent countless nights thinking about the direction of their future. Every conversation, every memory, every unanswered feeling slowly built toward this one unforgettable moment. The family believed they knew every chapter of your soulmate story, but they had no idea another chapter had already begun behind the scenes. They noticed a different glow, a different peace, and an unusual certainty that could not be explained with ordinary words. One relative finally asked the question everyone wanted answered, "Why now?" Your soulmate smiled gently but refused to reveal everything immediately. That silence created even greater curiosity. Every second felt heavier than the one before. Even those who had been skeptical leaned closer, waiting for the truth they never imagined they would hear. Don't skip, because the next revelation changes the meaning of everything you've heard so far. Somewhere in the middle of that conversation, your name entered the room without anyone expecting it. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Faces changed. Eyes widened. It was as though an invisible puzzle had suddenly found its missing piece. No one interrupted anymore. Every heartbeat carried another unanswered question. Why was your name connected to such a life-changing decision? Why had your soulmate protected this truth for so long? They finally admitted that some connections cannot be ignored forever. Some people quietly change your perspective without even realizing it. Some encounters leave marks that time cannot erase. The family had never seen them speak with such honesty before. That honesty became impossible to dismiss. If this story is touching your heart, type angel number 111 in the comments and keep listening, because something even greater is about to unfold. Your soulmate then looked toward the window, took a slow breath, and whispered that real peace begins when fear no longer controls your choices. Those words echoed through the room. Nobody argued anymore. Nobody laughed anymore. The silence itself became the loudest response. But what they revealed next was something no one could have predicted, and it is the reason this story cannot end here. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. And if these stories encourage and inspire you, your super thanks support, from $8 to $120, is deeply appreciated and helps bring more heartfelt messages like this to life. The next moment would reveal the one truth that changed everything forever, but that truth belongs to the next part. A strange calm settled over the room, and for the first time, every member of the family realized this conversation was no longer about the past. It was about the future. Your soulmate slowly looked around the room and said, "I didn't come here to ask for permission. I came here because I owe you honesty." Those words landed with incredible weight. Nobody moved. Nobody even reached for another word. It felt as if time itself had paused to hear what would come next. Don't skip this moment, because the next few seconds changed everything. Something huge is waiting for you. One family member finally broke the silence. Who made you think this way? They asked. Everyone expected your soulmate to mention a friend, a mentor, or some unexpected influence. Instead, they quietly answered, someone reminded me what peace feels like. The room instantly became silent again. They did not say your name immediately, but everyone knew exactly who they were talking about. The expressions on their faces changed from confusion to deep reflection. They began remembering every small moment they had overlooked, every smile they had dismissed, every conversation that suddenly carried a completely different meaning. Then came the sentence that no one expected. I'm ending my ties with every fear that kept me from choosing the life my heart has been leading me toward. That confession echoed through the room like a bell that refused to stop ringing. Suddenly, every disagreement from the past looked smaller. Every excuse sounded weaker. Every hesitation lost its power. Stay till the end because the biggest revelation has not arrived yet. An older relative quietly stood up and asked, "Does this mean you've finally decided?" Your soulmate nodded without saying another word. That simple gesture answered more questions than an entire speech ever could. Some family members smiled through emotional eyes. Others simply lowered their heads, realizing they had misunderstood this journey from the very beginning. Then someone opened an old family photo album sitting on the table. Page after page revealed memories, celebrations, and milestones. Your soulmate gently closed the album and said, "Beautiful memories deserve gratitude, but they should never become chains that stop us from walking toward tomorrow." Those words reached every heart in the room. If this message is speaking to you, type angel number 222 in the comments and continue listening. Sometimes a simple number becomes a reminder that hope is stronger than fear. At that very moment, one unexpected family member finally admitted something nobody saw coming. "We've noticed your smile has changed," they said. "For months you've carried a quiet happiness we couldn't explain." Your soulmate smiled softly and replied, "Because I finally stopped pretending I was fine when my heart wanted something greater." Don't skip. Every sentence is leading to the moment that changes this entire story. As everyone sat quietly absorbing those words, a younger relative walked over and asked one final question. "If you're really ending those old ties, what are you choosing instead?" The room became completely still once again. Even the sound of breathing seemed louder than before. Your soulmate looked toward the doorway, smiled with complete confidence, and prepared to give the answer that nobody was emotionally ready to hear. If this story is keeping you inspired, your support through Super Thanks, from $8 to $120, helps these heartfelt stories reach more people who need encouragement. Your kindness truly makes a difference. And if someone in your life would be encouraged by this message, consider sharing it with them so they can experience this journey too. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because the next words your soulmate speaks will leave the entire family speechless. No one expected what happened next. The silence that filled the room was no longer uncomfortable, it was filled with anticipation. Every pair of eyes remained fixed on your soulmate, waiting for the answer that had been building since the very first word of this conversation. Your soulmate took one slow breath and finally spoke. "I am choosing a future where my decisions are guided by peace instead of fear, by honesty instead of uncertainty, and by the connection that has never truly left my heart." The room froze. Nobody interrupted. Nobody questioned those words. Deep inside, every person understood that this was not an ordinary announcement. This was a turning point. Don't skip, because something even greater is waiting for you. One family member quietly asked, "Have you been carrying this inside you for all this time?" Your soulmate nodded. "Every day," they replied. "I stayed silent because I wanted to be certain before speaking. I never wanted my words to become empty promises." That answer touched everyone differently. Some realized how much courage it had taken to remain patient. Others suddenly understood why your soulmate had seemed distant over the past months. It was never distance, it was preparation. Then another unexpected voice filled the room. An older relative smiled gently and admitted, "We thought you were losing yourself. Now we can see you were actually finding yourself." Those words changed the atmosphere completely. The tension that had surrounded the family for so long slowly disappeared, replaced by quiet understanding. Stay till the end because the greatest surprise has not happened yet. Your soulmate then reached into a small pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Nobody knew what it contained. The family watched closely as they unfolded it with steady hands. Instead of reading every word aloud, your soulmate simply smiled and said, "This is a promise I made to myself many months ago. A promise that when the right moment arrived, would stop hiding from the life I truly wanted." Every person in the room wanted to know what was written on that page, but your soulmate gently folded it again and placed it back into their pocket. Some promises are too personal to explain. They are meant to be lived. If this story is speaking to your heart, type angel number 333 in the comments and continue listening. The next few moments connect everything together. A younger family member suddenly laughed softly and said, "So that's why you've been smiling for no reason lately." Your soulmate smiled even brighter. "There was always a reason," they answered. "I just wasn't ready to explain it." Those simple words carried more emotion than anyone expected. Even those who had questioned every decision began to realize that this journey had never been impulsive. It had been carefully unfolding one quiet step at a time. Then the oldest member of the family slowly stood up. Everyone wondered whether another disagreement was about to begin. Instead, they walked toward your soulmate, placed a gentle hand on their shoulder, and said something nobody expected to hear. "The greatest regret in life is allowing fear to make your choices for you. If your heart has found clarity, then walk forward without looking back." The room became completely silent again. This time, it was a silence filled with peace. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Just when everyone believed the conversation had finally reached its ending, a phone resting quietly on the table suddenly lit up. A new message appeared on the screen. Nobody had touched the device. Nobody expected anything more to happen that evening. Your soulmate looked at the screen, and their expression changed instantly. The calm smile disappeared, replaced by complete astonishment. Every family member noticed it immediately. "What happened?" someone whispered. Your soulmate looked up slowly, unable to speak for several seconds. Finally, they said, "I never thought this message would arrive today." The room fell silent once again, because whatever appeared on that screen had the power to change the next chapter forever. If these stories encourage your heart, your super thanks support, from $8 to $120, helps keep these uplifting messages coming to people around the world. Your generosity is sincerely appreciated. Don't skip. Stay till the end. The message on that phone will reveal a truth no one in the family was prepared to hear. The glow from the phone screen reflected across the room, but no one could read the message except your soulmate. Every heartbeat seemed louder than before. Every second stretched longer than the last. The family watched in complete silence, wondering why a single notification had changed everything. Your soulmate closed their eyes for a brief moment, smiled with quiet disbelief, and whispered, "I thought this opportunity had already passed." Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A younger relative leaned forward and asked, "Who sent it?" Your soulmate looked at the screen one more time before gently locking the phone. "The sender isn't the most important part," they replied. "It's what the message confirms." Those words instantly filled the room with another wave of curiosity. Every face carried the same question, but no one wanted to interrupt again. Your soulmate finally continued. Sometimes life waits until you're brave enough to make a decision before opening the next door. The room became completely still. Those words settled into every heart. The family began realizing that this unexpected message had arrived only after your soulmate chose peace over hesitation. One family member quietly admitted, "Maybe everything happened in this exact order for a reason." Another nodded in agreement. The arguments that once seemed so important suddenly felt meaningless. What mattered now was the confidence shining from your soulmate's face. It was a confidence no one had ever seen before. If this message is touching your heart, type angel number 444 in the comments and keep watching, because the biggest confirmation is still ahead. Then your soulmate unlocked the phone once again. This time they allowed everyone to hear just one sentence from the message. It says, "The path you've been preparing for is finally ready." The room fell silent once more. Nobody expected such simple words to carry so much emotion. One family member quietly wiped away tears. Another smiled without realizing it. Even those who had doubted every step could no longer deny that something meaningful was unfolding. Don't skip. Every moment is leading somewhere unforgettable. Your soulmate then turned toward the family and spoke with complete certainty. "I didn't come here to end relationships. I came here to end fear, doubt, and every excuse that kept me from becoming the person I was meant to be." Those words changed the atmosphere forever. For the first time that evening, every member of the family stood together, not because they finally understood every detail, but because they finally understood your soulmate's heart. If these stories encourage and inspire you, your super thanks support, from $8 to $120. Helps us continue creating uplifting stories that reach people around the world. Every bit of support is sincerely appreciated. And if someone you know would enjoy this story, feel free to share it with them so they can experience this journey too. But just when everyone believed the evening had finally reached its peaceful conclusion, there was a soft knock at the front door. Nobody had been expecting a visitor. The entire family looked toward the entrance. Your soulmate slowly stood up. A smile appeared that no one could explain. Then they quietly said, "I think I already know who's standing outside. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because the person behind that door is about to reveal the final piece of this unforgettable story." The gentle knock echoed through the house one more time. No one rushed toward the door. Instead, every member of the family looked at your soulmate, waiting to see what they would do next. Their calm expression revealed something remarkable. There was no fear. There was no uncertainty. Only quiet confidence. Your soulmate smiled and said, "Some moments arrive exactly when your heart is finally ready to receive them. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." With slow, steady steps, your soulmate walked toward the entrance. Every heartbeat in the room seemed louder than before. As the door slowly opened, everyone leaned forward in anticipation. Standing outside was someone carrying a small envelope with your soulmate's name written neatly across the front. No dramatic words were spoken. No long explanation was given. The visitor simply handed over the envelope and said, "This belongs to you. It was always meant to reach you today." The family watched in complete silence. Your soulmate accepted it with both hands, paused for a moment, and carefully opened it. Inside was a single handwritten sentence. They read it quietly. Then they smiled in a way no one in the family had ever seen before. One relative finally asked, "What does it say?" Your soulmate looked around the room before answering. "It says, the life you've been hoping for begins the moment you stop looking backward." Those words settled over the room like complete peace. Nobody argued. Nobody questioned. Instead, one after another, the family members realized something they had never understood before. This evening had never been about ending connections with people. It had always been about ending ties with fear, hesitation, regret, and the belief that yesterday should control tomorrow. Don't skip. The greatest lesson is only now becoming clear. Your soulmate turned toward the family one final time. I will always be grateful for every chapter that brought me here, they said. But I cannot keep living as the person I used to be when my future is asking me to become someone greater. Those words touched every heart in the room. The oldest family member smiled warmly. You've finally discovered what real courage looks like, they said. It isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's the quiet decision to keep moving forward even when nobody else understands. A peaceful silence filled the house. For the first time in a long time, everyone felt hope instead of uncertainty. Then your soulmate looked out through the open doorway toward the horizon. The next chapter starts now, they whispered. Nobody knew exactly what tomorrow would bring. But everyone knew one thing with complete certainty. The person standing before them was no longer held back by doubt. They were ready for a future built on honesty, courage, and hope. If this message is speaking to your heart, type angel number 555 in the comments as a reminder to keep moving forward with confidence. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge has been waiting for you all along. Not outside of you, but in the courage to embrace the future with an open heart. And if these stories have encouraged you today, your super thanks support, from $8 to $120, helps us continue sharing meaningful stories with people around the world. Every act of support is sincerely appreciated. This wasn't the end of your soulmate's journey. It was the beginning of a brand new chapter. One that would forever be guided by peace, purpose, and the quiet confidence to follow the path that truly belongs to them. Morning arrived differently than anyone expected. The house looked exactly the same, yet something invisible had changed forever. The conversations from the previous night were no longer echoes of uncertainty, they had become the foundation of a brand new beginning. Your soulmate stood quietly by the window as the first light filled the room. They smiled softly and whispered, "Everything feels different, because I finally stopped running from what my heart already knew. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." The family slowly gathered for breakfast, but the atmosphere was unlike any morning they had shared before. There was no tension. No uncomfortable silence. Instead, there was curiosity. Everyone wanted to know what came next. One relative finally asked, "Now that you've made your decision, what's your very first step?" Your soulmate answered without hesitation. "My first step is simple. I will no longer allow fear to write the story of my future." Those words settled deeply into every heart. Nobody could deny the confidence in their voice. It was the confidence of someone who had spent countless quiet nights searching for clarity, and had finally found it. Don't skip. Because what happened a few minutes later surprised everyone once again. As everyone continued talking, another phone notification appeared. This time your soulmate smiled immediately. Instead of hiding the screen, they gently turned it toward the family. Across the display were just a few simple words. "Keep moving forward. You're closer than you realize." Nobody knew who had written the message. But strangely, no one asked. Because the identity of the sender no longer mattered. The encouragement itself was enough. The room filled with peaceful smiles. One family member quietly laughed. "I've never seen you this calm." Your soulmate replied. Peace doesn't arrive when every question is answered. Peace arrives when your heart finally stops fighting the direction it's meant to follow. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something unexpected happened. The youngest member of the family walked over with an old wooden box they had discovered while cleaning a shelf. "I think this belongs to you." Your soulmate slowly opened it. Inside were photographs, old handwritten notes, and tiny reminders from years gone by. Instead of becoming emotional, they smiled with gratitude. "I'll always appreciate these memories," they said. But memories are gifts, not places to live forever. Everyone nodded. For the first time, every generation in the family understood exactly what those words meant. The past had shaped them. But it would no longer define them. If this message is encouraging you today, type angel number 777 in the comments and continue listening. The greatest surprise had still not arrived. Just before everyone left the table, the oldest member of the family stood up one final time. They looked directly at your soulmate and said, "Last night you believed you were announcing an ending. Now I realize. You were actually introducing all of us to a brand new beginning." No one spoke after that. No words were necessary. The smile said everything. The hope was real. The future finally felt brighter than the past. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. And if these stories continue to encourage your heart, your super thanks support, from $8 to $120, helps bring more uplifting messages like this to people who need hope. Every bit of support is sincerely appreciated. As your soulmate stepped outside into the fresh morning air, they paused for one last glance back at the home that had witnessed this unforgettable transformation. Then they smiled. Not because every mystery had been solved, but because they had finally discovered the greatest truth of all. The strongest relationships are never built on fear. They are built on honesty, courage, peace, and the willingness to keep walking toward the future together. The journey was no longer about what had been left behind. It was now completely focused on everything beautiful that was still waiting ahead.